What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Queen. It ain't Queen nothing. It's Greenleaf season 4, episode 4. I'm sorry for the delay in this video, but life is what it is. We start this episode off. Let me just go on down what we doing. We see that Bob Whitmore is back in town, and he done met up with Gigi, and he done told Gigi that he wants her to meet with this other church that is a predominantly white congregation, and that he wants her to talk to them about joining, basically merging with Calvary. And Gigi was kind of like, okay, all right, we'll see how that works out. She went back and told the bishop and Lady May about it, and the bishop and Lady May was like, no, hell no, no, because trust and believe that he's trying to eat up. He's trying to eat up all these churches. But when it's all over said and done, it won't be none of us that's going to be running them. Like, for right now, okay, we're the bigger church, and he's picking up these smaller churches, but they're white. And they're not gonna be us. When it's all over said and done, it will not be us in the mix. So Gigi's like, okay, I'm going to meet with him, and we'll see what he's talking about. Then we see where Bob is talking to Philip, and he's talking to Philip. He told Philip about the meeting and everything, and Philip was like, well, you want me to join in? Bob was like, no, I think Gigi got it. Gigi can handle it. So then I guess Philip writes his speeches, writes his sermons, and Bob isn't happy with the sermons that Philip's been giving him lately. So Philip rolls up to Charity, and he's telling Charity, look, you got to hurry up and help me find something on Gigi. Like, stuff is getting out of control. I mean, he didn't give her all the details, but he was like, look, I need you to go ahead and accelerate whatever it is you're doing. You need to get it done. I need some dirt on Gigi, and I need it yesterday. Then we see that Gigi done bought her son. He in town. She got him hiding up in this nice apartment. She done set the apartment up for him and everything, and she got him hidden. But y'all, it's something about this boy. I was sort of buying. Y'all was telling me in my comments last week that y'all didn't buy it, and y'all thought he was up to no good. And I was kind of giving this boy the benefit of the doubt. But this week, feeling some kind of way about this boy. He let Gigi know that he knew, about Gigi's ex-husband, knew he was a chef because the boy was cooking. And Gigi gonna say, did you learn that in jail? And he was like, why do people always assume that jail is like, this trade school for criminals or whatever? He was like, no, I learned how to cook from my my foster parents. And we find out. So I think that answers a question that somebody was asking before. I don't know if it was in my chat or somebody else's chat. He wasn't adopted. He sounds like he grew up in foster care, and then he just sort of aged out, and they sort of put him on the street. He tells Sophia that story, but I'll get there. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. And he even asked Gigi, he said, why are you giving me welcome mats and all this other stuff if nobody's even supposed to know I'm here? Who gonna come visit me? And Gigi talking about something, I will. Child. It's only a matter of time before he show up at the estate, honey. Talking about something, I'm here to see my mama. Y'all mark my words. Jacob and Carissa, they've met with the developers who want to buy the land. They are satisfied that the developers are on the up and up, and they're not going to do no fugazi mess with the property. And Jacob was like, I really wasn't trying to sell, but after listening to y'all's pitch, I'm kind of feeling this whole situation. And he ends up signing on the dotted line, honey. We'll get back to that. Clarissa notices the cufflinks that the guy's wearing. They look like little cupids. Like the little famous cupid pictures with the wings, or the angel pictures with the wings. But that's what it looked like, angels with the wings or whatever. And she notices them, and she thinks that they're very nice looking. And she says to Jacob, don't these look like sort of your style? Jacob kind of was like, I guess, that's important later on. That's why I bring it up. Lady May and Bishop. Bishop has been invited to speak at a church down in Atlanta to preach because the regular pastor's gone on a mission. And Lady May act like it's the worst thing in the world, which I don't understand. I understand what she's saying, but I just don't think it's that big of a deal. She was like, you don't need to be running off. You need to be here because we have to convince the people at Calvary that we're what's best for Calvary. So you don't need to be running off nowhere. You need to go ahead and stay right here and basically stay in their face. And Um, I don't know. And Bishop ain't feeling it. Bishop was like, look, well, I need to do something. We ain't having sex, so I need to. And that's with daggone Grace walked in on them talking about something. Is this a bad time, honey? That thing is hilarious to me. Anyway, so Sophia's back. I guess the brother done got in touch with her, and she done came back down from Hampton just to see him. She told her mama, I'm not here for you. I don't like the fact that you put me in this position to have to lie to people. I'm not going to lie to anybody. And, I'm only here to see him, not you. I'm staying down at the cottage with Zora, and I still ain't really rocking with you. Honey. Lady May is on some stuff. She done got in touch with the church secretary, and she done found out Bob's schedule because she want to meet up with Bob. She done printed out her speech from a day with Lady May and some more stuff, honey. She up to something. Lady May up to something, honey. And her and Clarissa have a little bit of a moment, and she, basically lets Clarissa know that I told, because Clarissa lets her know they're going to sell the land. And she said, we told Jacob not to sell that land, but okay, I guess he going to do what he wants to do, even if it's not in his best interest. Honey. But Lady May makes it clear that, it was not a good idea to sell the land. She compared her to Eve, honey, talking about some Eve taking that bite out the apple. Because Clarissa was like, well, we're free to sell what's ours. She said, well, Eve was free to bite that apple. Look at where it got all of us. I said, Lord. Lady May just got away with words, honey. So down to the cottage, we have Zora and we have Sophia. Zora is in her feelings because she was like, why did you just leave like that? Like, you said that you would stay for the summer and that we would hang out together, but then you rolled out and you didn't even let me know what was up. And now you just popping back up in town. What's going on? And y'all know Zora ain't no dummy. Zora is not no dummy, and Zora can read stuff very well. And I'm sure she picked up on the fact that Sophia was being very evasive with her. So Sophia's going to say, well, I'm sorry, I was going to stay, but then, me and my mom got into it, and I just had to go. So she going to she going to say, well, what's up? We hanging out or whatever? And she said, well, no, I have some things I need to do. And she was like, well, who you hanging out with? She going to lie and say she hanging out with the ex-boyfriend. Zora was like, oh, so y'all getting back together? She was like, no, we're just friends. I said, Lord have mercy. So we see her roll over, and she was in town to see her brother. So we see her go over to the brother's house, and they have their little moment, and he gets her drinking. Now he look like that he ain't no stranger to alcohol, and she gets him drinking. Y'all know that daggone Sophia is green. She don't know nothing about drinking, honey. She done got her butt drunk, and she done fell asleep in the bed. And they were talking, and that's when he was telling her about his foster parents putting him out the day after. He said he graduated from high school the day after his 18th birthday, but they put him out on his 18th birthday, and he was like, dang, I can't even stay till I graduate, and they pretty much was like, yeah, nah, and so, he was just basically saying that that's pretty much how things went down, and he's telling, they're talking or whatever, and, Sophia's getting more and more tipsy, and something about that whole scene just didn't feel right. Something about that scene left me, I didn't feel too good about it, honey. And then, of course, Sophia talking about, I'm sorry that my mother didn't treat you right. I'm sorry that my mother didn't do right by you. My mother. But you got me now. I'm here for you. And he was just like, yeah, whatever. You and your mother are the same person. Y'all making all these big promises, but we'll wait and see if it's really going to happen. And then she gets so daggone drunk, honey, that she got to lay down and fall asleep. She done fell asleep in the boy's bed. And nothing happened to her, but I don't know. I don't know if they meant for that scene to come across like that, but it just came across real funky to me. I don't know if they meant for it to, but it did. I don't know. So we see Grace meet up with the other church, the pastor from the other church, and they basically figure out that this is all about money. They basically figure out that Bob Whitmore, that this is not, that he's not suggesting that they merge because it's what's in the best interest of the churches. It's all about a money grab. And neither one of them are really foolish into thinking that it's anything more than that. But he agrees, to come to Calvary on Sunday. So we have Miss Clarissa, honey. Clarissa then met up with Philip. Now, I don't know what she was doing with Philip. But I guess she was bringing him some sort of proposal, I guess, with her school or something like that. And he said, well, thank you. You know, I'll take this to Bob. And when he was talking, she noticed the cufflinks. And they have the exact same cufflinks of the guy that's trying to buy the property, the company that's buying the property from her. And she asked him about those cufflinks, and he said, oh, no, these are a gift from Bob. Bob gets them custom made, and he gives them to everybody. You know, Jacob will get some eventually because Bob gives them to all his employees. So Clarissa gets on the phone and calls her realtor and asks her realtor to look up and double check who that company is really, like, is it a parent company or somebody, like who that company is really connected to. So then we see that daggone Charity. She trying to get information out of my girl, church secretary. And, you know, she shot her down. But she gave her enough information that she asking about Grace and who Grace messing with, and talking about, I got somebody I want to set Grace up with. And she was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Talking about she really is done dealing with old boy, you know, the Rick Fox dude. And she was like, yeah, Corinne was like, yeah, I guess as far as I know. So then she gonna say about Noah, well, what was Noah doing here? I mean, you know, Corinne gonna say, why don't you ask Charity? I mean, why don't you ask Gigi? She's like, because I'm asking you. She was like, you're not going to tell me? And eventually she shuts the whole conversation down, okay? She confirms that Noah was there, but she will not confirm what the conversation was about with Noah. Honey, Charity takes her happy ass back to her office, calls Noah at home, leaves a message on Noah's voicemail talking about something. How dare you come through here and not even say hi to me, Noah? You not even going to speak to me? Shame on you. Knowing good and daggone well. Knowing good and daggone well. Noah's wife was going to hear that message. We'll get back to that. So, Sophia comes back home and Zora is pissed. Zora is like, why did you lie to me? You know, I know that you lied because old boy called here looking for you. He didn't even, because I talked to old boy and he didn't even know you were in town, much less that y'all were hanging out. Where were you? And of course, Sophia can't tell Zora without betraying her mom. And Sophia is really upset by it because, it's affected her friendship with Zora. And she's hurt by it. And she's sort of stuck. Like, you know, I don't want to lie to her. But at the same time, I can't really tell her because it's my mother's secret. Lady Mae done met up with Bob Whitmore, honey. And y'all know Lady Mae. Lady Mae don't cut no cards. And she done basically let him know that she's the one. She done sent him a copy of her day with Lady Mae's speech, honey, and it's basically letting him know that she sees him. She sees what he's doing. And Lady Mae is like, look, I have a problem with this whole folding the white church into Calvary. And she gives him a history on the black church, honey, and how the black church was the solace and the saving grace when black folk didn't have nothing else. And he said, oh, I understand. Oh, yes. She said, okay, well then, why are you proposing that we roll Calvary into, why are you even proposing this? And he was like, well, I don't see, nowadays, in this new world, it's all about, the first commandment, love thy neighbor. And, Lady Mae hits him with but I'm just worried about what will be lost with loving our neighbor. And, he thinks he's sweet talking her, but honey, he ain't sweet talking nothing. He tries to tell her, I read your sermon and I saw the video from a day with Lady Mae, and Grace doesn't get it from her father. She gets it from you. And Lady Mae ain't feeling that. And then he tried to shake her hand at the end. Lady Mae hit him with like, I am not shaking your hand on that one. Back down to the estate, honey. Sophia trying to get a clean break and try to get out of town before anybody catches her. And Lady Mae is like, she, of course, catches her. And she's like, Sophia, I didn't know you were back. What's going on? Why didn't you tell me you were here? Why, what's going on with you and your mother? What happened? And, Sophia is upset. She won't tell her grandmother what the issue is. She won't tell her grandmother what's wrong. But she did tell Grace. She said, I'm not going to tell your secret. But I'm not going to lie for you either. I will not be back until you tell them what's going on. And she tried to get, Grace tried to get Sophia to understand that they can't say anything until they get the church back. Sophia ain't trying to hear that. And she's upset, and Grace is upset, and honey. And I see part of I see where Sophia's coming from. I do understand the whole not wanting to lie for you type thing. But at the end of the day, honey, that's your mama. That is your mama. That's your mama. So then Grace and Lady May end up getting into it. And Lady May tells Grace, look, in no uncertain terms do you not make this a comfortable situation for the white pastor coming through here tomorrow. When he come and he sit on that pulpit with you, don't you accommodate him. Don't you make him feel wanted in any way. We don't want him thinking it's welcome. And she said, Mama, look, I done met with him. He don't want to come to Calvary any more than Calvary wants him to come. This is Bob's idea. And, Lady May was like, I get that. I understand that it's Bob's idea. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to persuade him that this is not what he wants. And of course, Grace says, well, let me pray to God and let God tell me what it is. But, honey, anyway, you know how they do. They don't get along. Sunday morning, honey, and Charity is forced to sing that song with Judy, whatever that woman name is, honey. And it is, I grew up Catholic. So that's right up my alley. That's the kind of song that I would hear on a bus. That's what but I know that that's not what you normally would hear in a, Baptist church, especially Southern Baptist church. Honey, the whole audience was looking around like, what is really going on here? Like, what is this? What in the world is this? So, honey, Grace gets up there to preach, honey. And Grace is telling, she is getting it on. She's getting in her groove, honey. So she gets to preaching about how Pharaoh tried to move God's people around. And when Pharaoh tried to move God's people around, all it did was cause God's people to unite and rise up against Pharaoh. Honey, Bob sat there with a smile on his face, but Bob wasn't feeling that. And she said every time Pharaoh tried to move God's people around, it would cost Pharaoh. And she said it would even cost him his own son, honey. And she preached that thing. And she went on and on about how the people need to stand up to stand up to Pharaoh and not let Pharaoh push them around. Honey, Bob wasn't feeling that. As soon as that thing was over, Bob summoned Gigi and he threatened her. He told her, he said, let me tell you something. He said, I can make this all go away. I can get rid of you. I get rid of your sister. I get rid of your brother. He said, don't push me anymore. I'm warning you. I said, oh, he is good mad. Good and mad. Now we see the son again. Son like his liquor. The son likes his liquor. And he's staring at that bed where Sophia slept the night before. Again, y'all, something about it. I don't like it. Something about that. Something ain't right with that. Now, Clarissa gets a phone call from the realtor, and the realtor confirms, oh, yeah, the company that wants to buy your land, yeah, they're owned by, Hope and Harmony Enterprises or whatever, owned by Bob Whitmore. It's the same company. And Clarissa, she shook, but she wants that house so bad that she is willing to basically betray the whole family to sell that land to the Whitmores to get her house. She didn't tell Jacob. She didn't tell anybody. And Lady May had said something to her earlier about being so impatient to get things. They go to closing, honey. And I sat there the whole time and I kept saying, Clarissa, don't do it. Clarissa, don't do it. Clarissa, don't you sign those papers. Don't sign those papers. And she hesitated for a second. But baby, she signed those papers. So they done sold the land across the street from the estate. Noah done called Gigi. Noah's wife heard the message from Charity. She done put him out the house because he told her the truth about, why he went to go visit Gigi. And of course, just like he said she's not going to be happy about the fact that I had a child with you. Especially since me and her can't seem to have a baby. He done put Noah out. Gigi said, well, what you going to do now? Noah said, I'm coming to Memphis to see my son. So we will see how that all folds out, honey. And that is Greenleaf. Let me know what y'all think. It's late, but drop it in them comments, y'all.